But what I have in mind is a defense of what's happening in Israel as not genocide, because what Benny said was if it were really genocide, then they could just wipe out Palestine and Gaza in a heartbeat because they have power. So clearly what's happening now is not genocide. They don't have genocidal intentions.
I can only say, with all due regard for Benny Morris, and he has written serious historical, has produced serious historical scholarship. It's just a really silly argument because it pretends as if countries are free agents and can do as they wish, and they can carry on as they desire. In my opinion, were the circumstances ripe, Israel probably, as the Minister of Antiquities recommended, Israel probably would have nuked Gaza. But it's not as if countries can do as they please. Even if we can go back a little bit to the war in Vietnam, which was the salient event of my youth, and for most people my age cohort, there were moments when, from the historical records, clear that President Nixon wanted to use atomic bombs in Vietnam, but there was the question of an international community and whether it would tolerate resort to such weapons, and the answer was no. So many countries, not just the United States, have been tempted to use nuclear weapons. The United States wanted to nuke China in the early 1960s, but for what's the fancy term is geopolitical reasons, that wasn't an option. So one has to examine what were the options available to Israel, and also what kinds of damage it did inflict. Now, I can't go through the whole record since October 7th in the course of an interview. What I would say is, if you look at the application that South Africa assembled for the International Court of Justice, they submitted it December 29th, 2023. The application runs to 84 pages. It has literally hundreds of footnotes. Each of the footnotes is multi-referenced. Virtually, not entirely, but you could say virtually, the whole of the document. I have it right here if you'd like me to put it up for the camera. Virtually, well, I have it right here, so I might as well just show you. This is the South African application. It's 84 pages, single-spaced, but most impressively is its documentation. Each page, as you can see, is very heavily footnoted. And so that's the next point. So we have a document. It's 84 pages. It's single-spaced. It contains hundreds of footnotes, and each footnote is multi-referenced. Virtually every single source is a reputable humanitarian agency, let's say the World Health Organization, Save the Children, or a UN agency, a direct UN affiliated agency, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, UNCTAD, the UN Conference for Trade and Development, World Bank, and so forth. It's a very long list. I've cataloged it all. Again, if you like, I can show you. So you have the most respected and eminent humanitarian organizations in the world, and you have the full gamut, a phalanx of UN-affiliated agencies, all well known to the public, since these are humanitarian agencies and you find them everywhere in the world. And if you read the picture, the cumulative picture, as I have, because I'm writing on it right now, and I should point out, South Africa went before the International Court of Justice 4 times. It went before the UN, the ICJ, we'll just abbreviate it, the International Court of Justice 4 times. In January, the court issues a court order, it's called an order, on January 24th. It then goes again before the court in February, saying we need more court action, what's called provisional measures. We need more court action because the genocide has been exacerbated. It then goes before the court again in March, and March 28th, the court issues an order, and then it goes before the court in May, again asking, it's called an urgent request for additional provisional measures each time. And it issues again a court order on May 24th. Each application by South Africa, each application is a new voluminous document, exhaustively footnoted, in order to document the dimensions of a genocide. Now, the court concludes that Israel is plausibly committing genocide. Now, there has been, of course, an extensive debate on exactly how high a bar plausibly indicates. What I could say as a layperson is, I'm not entirely a layperson. What I could say is, having examined the record, even I entertain an area of doubt in my mind as to whether genocide is the appropriate description label of what's going on. But when you read the record, it is so horrendous, so horrifying, that you have to ask the question, if this is not a genocide, then really what is? But there are always, as I said, limitations.